Hello, everybody, and I'm pretty sure I am live. Just give me a thumbs up or put a comment in the comment box. I've been you ever connected to the Instagram? You have to before you face this issue. Okay, I think I'm live streaming right now. So just give me a thumbs up that I'm live streaming. Been having some technical difficulties. And so today, welcome. Welcome. My name is Tanya Oliver. I'm an executive coach for elite entrepreneurs and high-end achievers. And today we're going to talk about mind control. So I want to ask you this. When was the last time you actually picked up a book and you finished it? I'm really big on audiobooks, but I will say there's nothing like picking up a really good book and finishing it. So today we're going to talk about mind control, and I'm going to share a little story with you that's going to get you up and running. And so let me share this part first. I'm like, which part do I want to share? It's about mind control, but it's also about sharpening your axe. So today they talk about the last chapter, which I did finish on the stair stepper today. I'd spend 20 minutes a day, like 5 days a week, just whenever I was on the stair stepper doing cardio. I'm really big on efficiently multitasking. I would just read however much I could get through, like that got me through 20 minutes. And then eventually today, I finished the book. And I want to share this last chapter with you. By the way, if you want to know all of my life-changing, most impactful book recommendations or things that I use in life, I'm on Amazon Live. So that will, the link is inside of the bio and also down here that you can get access to it. Today's all about susceptibility to negative influence. And that's, they talk about in chapter 16, they talk about the devil's workshop and how the devil could be just not following through or finishing with your projects and your tasks, not being able to have the mental endurance and the capacity to keep up with your vision and your dreams. Like that's a really big part also of ways where our blessings, our blossomed blessings, where our blessings get blocked because of getting in our own head with that overwhelm, that stinking thinking, which is a big topic that I've been talking about recently because it's been heavy conversation with a lot of my clients and in my inner circle. So it says state of mind, you have to treat it it says, moreover, it's a weapon intangible, merely state of mind. Hold on, I don't know why I circled that. I was on the stair stepper. There's a part in here where it says spiritual estate. You have to treat your mind like a spiritual estate. Let it be in connection with one of your greatest possessions. You were given the will. So it says your mind is your spiritual estate. Protect and use it with the care to which divine royalty is entitled. You were given a willpower for this purpose. So just because you might know better doesn't always necessarily mean that you're doing better. So I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. And sometimes it's because you feel like you have to keep pushing forward. You don't feel like you deserve to take a break, or you feel like you don't, the biggest thing is you don't feel like you've earned it. And it says in here, it says, Edison did not believe, they're talking about people with negative minds tried to convince Thomas Edison that he could not build a machine that would record and reproduce the human voice because they said no one else has ever produced such a machine. Edison did not believe them. He knew that the mind could produce anything the mind could conceive and believe, and the knowledge was the thing that lifted him above the common herd. Something in yoga, when we get into this one pose where the hand comes above and then the one below, they say, look at your Achilles, and you're almost like in this warrior two. And it's interesting, you're in a warrior pose, but then you're in a space like this and the hand is down and you're pointing down to your Achilles tendon, and they say, look at your weakness. And then the hand comes up and you go into a mudra of right knowledge or truth. And you look up and they say, knowledge will lift you up. So when you're looking up, knowledge will lift you up. And so keep that in mind. And then they say, Henry Ford had been repeatedly mentioned because he is an astonishing example of what someone with a mind of their own and a will to control it can accomplish. Ford never had a chance either, but he created an opportunity and backed it with persistence until it made him richer than Cornelius. I want to state this here too because I want to talk about mental endurance. So you might have this really big vision, this great willpower, but you feel like you're running out of steam. Have you ever felt that way before where you're like, man, I'm exhausted. I don't know if I can keep up with this. I can't keep up with my daily methods of operation. I can't keep up with my tasks. Like, I'm exhausted. And they said in here, and in a second, I'm going to share a story about sharpening your axe. Mind control is the result of self discipline and habit. You either control your mind or it controls you. The most practical of all methods for controlling the mind is the habit of keeping it busy with defined purpose, backed with a definite plan. The direction towards attainment. Okay, so without this control, success is not possible. And then there's one more part in here. There's a lot of great stuff. And it's one thing to read it, it's another to actually integrate. So I think I asked you a question earlier, and today I said, how many of you had read a book and finished it, but let alone read a book, integrated it, and finished it? And I think we're so pushed on read a book a day, read a book a month. This book took me like 3 months to read because the biggest part is like reading it and putting it into practice and going back and integrating, especially if it's a book where it's going to impact and change your life. And here they say, why people spend so much time deliberately fooling themselves by creating alibis, I talked about in the reels earlier, is handling your own objections. We have these alibis or these excuses or these objections to cover our weakness. So what are you currently feeling like you're weak-minded in, that you're not showing up for, where you're having these excuses and it's just not in harmony with your goals? This is the same would be sufficient to cure the weakness, but then no alibi would be needed. It says, in parting, I would remind you that life is a draughts board. I don't know what that is. Have you guys heard of a draughts board before? They said life is a draughts board, and the player opposite you is time. And the player opposite you, I think they said to you, and the player opposite to you is time. You are playing against a partner who will not tolerate indecision. And when you have that confliction of your mind and you have the duality of your mind and you have the battle within yourself, it creates a lot of indecisiveness, which can lead to procrastination. A lot of people think procrastination is laziness, but procrastination is actually just the inability to process your negative thoughts and emotions. And then they say the price is failure. So if you're not on your own team, the price is failure. There's a reward. The reward is worthy of your effort. Okay. I think that's like really the core point of what I want to say as far as like mind control in the last part of the book. And then I want to talk about, in this book, they talked a lot about Lincoln. And it's cool because I picked this up and I was talking to my inner circle last night about that. We were talking about performance, productivity, and how to be more efficient with your time and your energy. And then I kept having this, I remember a long time ago, I read this story about wood choppers. Have you heard of this story about the wood choppers or the woodcutters? Anybody heard about this story before? All right, so let me tell you real fast. And they talked about Lincoln. If you guys didn't know, Abraham Lincoln, he was a wood chopper before he was the president. And he is the most important president in American history. He's been claimed. He's well known for his energy and productivity. Abe Lincoln, a productivity secret was to sharpen tools to get the job done more efficiently. He said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe. And then this story was pretty cool where they said there was this contest where they had two wood choppers, and they would be granted fortune and fame for whoever cut down the most wood within sunrise to sunset. And they were both in this like heated contest. And one of the guys, it was lunchtime, ended up taking a break and he left. So by noon they were neck to neck, but then one man took a break, stopped chopping, and the other man saw this and thought to himself, this lazy fool, he's probably taking a break for lunch. He's given me a chance to get ahead of him, and I will without doubt win this contest. And when the other man got back, the other guy was like hungry, he was tired, it was mid-afternoon, and he had a lead, but so the showdown came. The man who had taken the break at noon had chopped almost twice as many trees as the other man, who was drenched in sweat, hungry, and exhausted. And so he goes, "How did you beat me?" And he was so confused. He said, "You were lazier than I and even took a break for lunch." And the other guy goes, "I did take a break, but it was during that break that I sharpened my axe." So the moral of the story is taking time out of your day, treating your day like a sprint, and then your axe is worth many hours. Just having that sharp axe is worth many hours. And then there was another story they had talked about where it was more of like a 5-year thing, and a guy came in and he's like, "I'm going to be the best axe person." And which originally came down, he's like, "Wow, you have the best woodcutter I've ever met in my life." And over time, he ended up like getting slower and slower. Eventually, he was chopping 15 trees and he was chopping 10. And then he was like, "All right, I'm going to work more and I'm going to do more and I'm going to get there." But then he was getting slower and slower and slower and being less efficient. Eventually got laid off. And the other guy would always leave during break and he would sharpen his axe. He would axe. He would bust his ass. He would sharpen his axe, and he just was producing more and more. And so I want you to think about this and really audit your day and audit your life. And what are some of the things that you are putting off that pour back into you and pour back into your performance, but you keep putting them off, and you are realizing you're getting slower, you're less productive, you're not as efficient, and you're maybe getting burnt out in business and in life, and you might be operating in a space of exhaustion, mental exhaustion, energetic exhaustion, your performance. You're having to go back and clean up more things. And it seems like today the world is more busier, but they're not as efficient or productive. And one of the biggest reasons is not laziness. The guy was not lazy. He was actually working harder, but not smarter, and producing less and less and less over time. And so today I want to just challenge you, and I want you to really think a little bit different. And I want you to identify, what are some of the things that sharpen your axe? Are you putting your health on the back burner? Are you actually taking care of your body? Are you taking time for personal growth and development? Are you in masterminds and inner circles to also pour into an enriched ecosystem and to help you with your motivation and in your inspiration? When times get hard, what I've noticed is people most likely end up pulling back from the things that allow them to perform and produce at max capacity versus that's really the biggest thing that I see. When times get hard and times get chaotic, people then put their self-care on the back burner and try to work a lot harder, but yet they become worse off. And so today I really want to encourage you to think about the things that allow you to be a higher producer and a higher performer, and how you can start to add those little things back into your day, where you start to turn your day into like that break, like the axe cutter, where he would stop and sharpen his axe. And if you think of that, you are the axe. How and what ways can you start sharpening your axe for how you're performing as a human being? And in here, there's one more part in here. They said, Lincoln, who was a skilled woodcutter before becoming president, probably meant both literally and figuratively, inefficient tools waste energy. It's better to spend the majority of your time finding and cultivating the best tools for any task. Sharpening your axe can include things like, emails and and they call it ChatGPT. But most importantly, tool for achieving any task is you. You are the tool. I don't know if I want to say it like that. You're a tool, but you're the axe. So what are some ways you can sharpen your brain? And they talk about mind control. When you dull your body, and I had this epiphany too, like every time I work out, I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this, and how can I kind of intertwine them all? It's cool how it ends up coming together. But that's because I put me first. And then this way I can give you guys the best of me versus like a half-assed sloppy version of me, or versions of me that are not operating at peak states, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And I had this epiphany that came in about, when I'm always thinking about clients, when working with clients, and how to serve them better. And so even though I'm not doing something, I'm still creatively thinking. And what I notice, most people do the most damage when they're under understimulated and when they're overstimulated. And they go into this space of numbing. So when we're understimulated, maybe if you have a high achiever personality and you have to always be like in this like space and creative, inspired, and you're not, then you numb yourself because you just not stimulated and you need a stimulation. Or if you're overstimulated, you have so many things on your task and you're overwhelmed, you go and you drink, you overeat, you go television. We're constantly in today's age overstimulated, but at the same time, we've also have not taken time to sharpen our axe. So then we become understimulated. And then this like big yo-yo happens within our life. And more than ever today, why is it that we're super busy, but yet at the same time, we're miserable? Well, I'm not miserable, but most people are miserable. They're unhappy. They're exhausted. And it's because you're not taking time to sharpen your axe. So if you guys need support, I am more than happy to get on a strategy call with you. We also have courses on productivity, time management, time blocking without compromising yourself, your family, and the things that you love. Those links are inside the bio, or you can get it at tanyacoliver.com/get it done. And also, great news. My favorite books that I feel are very impactful and life-changing. I just started up an Amazon Live store with my favorite foods that keep me a high performer, my favorite stuff, like all of my favorite lifestyle stuff that I end up only sharing with private clients. And now I'm actually opening it up to the public so that you guys can get up and running and be able to perform so that eventually you can start doing more and having more opportunity and more experiences in your business and in your life. So I hope today's message served you. It ended up really, I feel like, intertwining, and hopefully it made sense. It made sense in my brain, so hopefully it made sense in your brain. But also an actionable step is make a list of everything that you know that you're not doing that helps you sharpen your axe. All right, you guys. If nobody's told you today, I'm proud of you for being here. Thank you for your energy and your time. Remember that you deserve to look, feel, and show up in your business and your life as your most elite self. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.